have a lot of time to chat this morning because my phone needs to charge before work. But I wanted to come on because, well, a couple of things. One, my Eamon, my 16-year-old, my almost 17-year-old, just walked himself to a local park to use a porta potty. I love him. I'm not going to go through all the details, but we're not exactly in the perfectest spot with our vehicle in terms of, like, before, like, when the transmission was moving, like, I knew where all the bathrooms were already plowed out. Thankfully, I do know where they are, so we're not in a bad spot. But it does require that he push himself a little bit and do some stuff, so... And thankfully, Spirit worked it out that I could be here enough times that I walked him to it. I showed it to him. I showed him some of the people in the area. He knows what some of the resources are. And I'm starting work today. And I am so proud of him. Because he is on the spectrum. He's very, very high functioning. I'm not concerned about his ability to do it. It's just some of the sensory, emotional stuff, you know. And thankfully, he has a mom who has been through that. And his dad has got a lot of sensory issues and stuff. So I've helped him through a lot of that stuff, too. So he's got some tools, you know. And the main thing, to be honest, isn't him, it's having the bird, right? But I'm proud of him. He has stretched himself in amazing ways, and Spirit's made it so he hasn't had to stretch too much. But now's where we get that little bend, because I just submitted stuff to the application to the people who rent the studios out here. And I got another call back on another job. I was kind of telling them, I'm like, look at that. Like, I took the time, I dealt with my ADHD, I put my resume back together in a new way so that it was fitting of wherever I might apply out here. I put just a nice, short and sweet, but just to the point, a cover letter on it, got my references down, and I turned it in, and all of those places have been saying, we want you, right? And you say, the Tarotcraft. I did subscribe to your channel, and thank you for doing what you do too. I think it might have been Darren Dragon Tarot that shared you, or I might have seen you when I was looking at my Capricorn horoscopes. Those are the more recent ones, but thank you for following me in return. And I will be getting back to my own tarot readings fairly soon too. It's been interesting going this different route, but I don't know. I like a channel that mixes in real life with the other stuff too. It's, you know, it's my thing. Darren is awesome. I love Darren. Darren, if you're watching me, I know you do sometimes. He's one of the earliest people that followed my channel 2 years ago when I started. He called me the guru of self-love, and I was like, you know what? I will accept that. It's funny and it's absurd, but I will take it. Anyways, I was proud to get another phone call in front of my son with people that were like, hey, you dropped off a resume. Heck, I dropped off resumes at places that didn't say they were hiring either. I already went to all the places that said they were hiring, and they were kind of like, yes, we're hiring right now, but not really right now. You know what I mean? And a resume does make a difference depending on where you go. Like, some places are all technology and you're just kind of a name and a lot, even if you go in. Other places, all you got to do is talk to the management. But you know, it's depending on the towns that you're in, especially smaller towns, a resume can go a long way. And if people would like some, it's funny, my family and a lot of people I know, they had me do their haircuts and they had me do their resumes because I could do both and make you look pretty clean cut. So if anybody would like me to do videos on that at some point, I can do that too. I'm happy to help people out. But right now, we're in this middle zone. I've got somebody that has a transmission, and they will do the work for me, and they're going to give me a great deal, and they even found a place that we can work on it. But it'll take about 2 days because this Explorer has a beautifully large transmission in it. They're not complicated, but they are heavy, and to get them out does require some time, especially if, you know, I'm going to be working and not able to help and stuff. So I've got that stuff, but there is the challenge is we've run out of people who have couches and bedrooms and stuff that we can stay, that my son and his bird can stay in while I work. So I'm like sending out the extra prayers and waves right now on this day, what did I say, day 26 of 40 days and 40 nights, that people who manage the apartments look at my application with all of the, like, I turned in everything, like the last 90 days of my PayPals, of my work. I'm actually proud of myself. I did not make a lot while I was trying to take care of my kids and my DM and my parents and stuff like that, but I made a fair amount. I did good. And it's stuff that I've worked on over the years, like my writing. I still get passive income from articles that I wrote like 15 years ago, you know what I mean? I still write new ones because you gotta, in order to keep the income active, but I've not been doing it as much as I was. I'm thinking to get even more into that because it's nice income, and I like that I can help people and make that income. That being said, I also miss working regular jobs. I really do. I like being in kitchens. I like being customer service. I like doing stuff like that. I just do. And I'm excited for that. And it's interesting to look at the 40 days and 40 nights thing. It was a challenge kind of to myself / from Spirit, or at least some of my guides, of like, and I don't think I'm doing it wrong, but I had intended to do something every day. But this is, so what it is 40 days and 40 nights of Venus in Capricorn retrograde. And that is actually my natal placement, is Venus in Capricorn. Not retrograde, interestingly enough, but it's still there. And I just met like 3 other people in town who know their astrology well enough to know they also have Venus in Capricorn. And it's very interesting to see that energy, especially in the different places that we've been in. And just the overall like structure of things. Like I don't typically read newspapers, but I decided to pick up a smaller local paper rather than the big sensationalist ones that I see everybody else sitting and reading and going, oh, it's like the Bible. It's like, no. See, look at you, Terry Crowder. I love it. See what I just say, right? Venus and Cappy. And you know, the funny thing is, my favorite aspect of Venus in Capricorn is 2 things. One, we're the swan, but that always brings me back to the story of the ugly duckling, right? And I love it too because, well, the ugly duckling was not really, it wasn't ugly and it wasn't a duck. It was a swan, right? It just didn't know that, and it went through trying to be a duck. Like, oh, why am I different? It kind of reminds me of the Disney, the more modern version of Tarzan. You know, he's like, why am I different? Why don't I have fur? And why does everybody treat me different and stuff like that, you know? But if you look at it too, though, it's kind of got an interesting lesson. Like sometimes early on in life, and those of us with Venus and Cappy, I bet you'll get this, Crafty Tarot, is that we do tend to have that. Like we kind of end up, even Capricorn in general, if you have strong Capricorn energy, your life theme typically includes starting out trying to, like, I would say walk like a duck and talk like a duck, even though you're not a duck. You know what I mean? Like you're a swan. You've got a different set of integrity. Your wings are very different. Like I actually know a fair amount, thanks to some of my life adventures, about the differences between different birds' wings and types of feathers and stuff. And like even a goose's wing is not as strong as a swan's wing, and duck wings certainly aren't either. Like if you had a swan fan, like a smudge fan, they are way strong. Gooses are very, very strong. Or not gooses, swans. And they're related. They're related in many ways, but they are not the same species, right? And a lot of this energy is kind of that thing, especially if you've already passed your first Saturn's return. So like 28 to 32 years oldish. If you've gotten past that mark, this is kind of your swan time. Oh man, isn't there a swan song? I think it's with the Nutcracker, but I think there's another swan song, and I can't remember what it is. But I have been seeing a lot of references to swans too lately. And even when we were driving out to this area that we're in, I noticed that there were a lot of swans in various farms. It took me a minute to go, oh, because a lot of the farmers out here have gotten smart, and they built up like a side venue, and they do weddings out here. And I mean, you know, it's funny, with my Venus in Capricorn, I'm kind of like, that's a little spendy. I don't need it to be that extravagant if I get married and stuff. But also, like, I mean, why not? Who wouldn't just be like, oh, you have swans at your wedding? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm kind of a both sides. I like to say that I'm a hopeful romantic. I'm not a hopeless romantic. I'm a hopeful romantic. And I'm consciously that way. I choose to be that way. I like to be that way. And you'll find a lot of times those with Venus and Cappy are that way, and that's the kind of energy of it. That's the evolved energy of it, though. Like the unevolved energy is like, I'll never let anybody close to me because they'll never meet my standards, they'll never, you know, be as honest with me or communicate as much with me, that kind of thing. But the other thing that a lot of people don't realize is, so if you look at your birth chart and you look at your Venus and Mars and moon placements, and then you kind of wrap in what a lot of the more modern gurus about manifestation and energy work and energy medicine and things like that talk about, well, you can see that, how do I put it? So if you think about Abraham Hicks stuff, right? They talk about sending up rockets of energy. And they talk about like your emotions are your GPS system. They tell you like, what vibration are you in? You know, if you're doing something that doesn't feel good, you're not in alignment with yourself, and you know, and whatever that is. And if it does feel good, you know, you're in alignment with wherever you are. Now you can adjust from there and stuff like that, but your rocket fuel is your emotions. So look at your moon sign for that. Then if you look at your Venus placement, that is what you have strengths in, especially if you look at the house, in what you can call to you, because Venus is Aphrodite energy. It's that what can I say, I want this, and it will come to me? Or what can I like go into a room and I know that like I know that people like to tell me their life stories. Like I can walk into a room and have complete strangers tell me that. Now that's not unusual for just anybody, but I know that I have an emphasis on that. And a lot of people tend to like to talk to me about business, which isn't uncommon as a Capricorn thing, or Capricorn and Venus and Capricorn. And your Mars sign is what you can manifest by action, by masculine energy, right? Like femininity is that receiving, receptive energy. So like what flows to you, and the Mars energy is that masculine, what can I go out and manifest right now? You know what I mean? And like, so funny enough, my Mars is in Scorpio. So I have Venus and Capricorn and Mars in Scorpio. So I'll let you consider what it is very easy for me to go out and manifest by action, by masculine action-taking energy. But what I want to say before I get off here is that like Venus and Capricorn energy, think about that. We are all having access to that ability to call that in. And Capricorn is kind of that King of Pentacles sort of thing. So Pentacles, contract, stability, magic, things of that nature. So take the time to consider what sorts of things you might be able to align with in this moment while we have this energy, even in retrograde. And I'll come on and do some more videos about that at a later time. I gotta get ready for work now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.